Hello, I'm Lucy and I'm so pleased to welcome you back to the Lucy Legal. I'm calling it a vodcast, I'm calling it a voddy because we're chatting in video and it's kind of like a podcast. Anyway, it's a no-nonsense guide to help you move forward in your business faster. And today we are chatting all things overwhelm. I am so excited. So let's jump right in. Okay then, so we are chatting about it, and as I say, I'm calling it a bit of a vodcast because lots of you will listen to podcasts and things, and I think that when you have listened to a podcast, you kind of lose that bit, don't you, where you see people, where you understand them, where you think, yeah, I really resonate with her. I'm really expressive, as you'll see, so I think you lose that a little bit on a podcast, so I've sort of labelled this the vodcast, but then thought voddy sounded a little bit more excited, so that's where we are anyway. So, we're chatting all things overwhelm today, and how that can really stop you from being productive in your business. So I have got 5 tips for you today, and it's going to help you to really move forward strategically in your business and take action quicker. Before I get started, if you are enjoying these videos, I would love you to subscribe and hit the notifications button as well, so that you always see when I go live with a new video, and they are often on Monday evenings UK time. What can I say to you about making sure you are more productive? Well, productivity in a business is everything, isn't it, really? I think if you are a lawyer like I am, you really begin to appreciate time and time management, because we bill our clients by the hour. You have a fantastic appreciation of time and how much you're spending on something. So that in itself is something that really transforms your business. But let's jump in first of all to tip 1, which is making sure that you get everything on a list. You get everything that you need to do down on a list. So one of the worst things I see happening to people is they say, oh my God, I've got so much to do. I just don't know what to do next. I don't know where to go. I just feel so overwhelmed. I just can't seem to do everything. Get it on a list. And when I say get things on a list, get everything there. Get the client tasks planned out on a list. So get everything out on your head. I often use a big piece, just an A4 piece of white paper, and I pop things into sort of columns, and I rejig things around, but I get everything onto the list, and it's from everything from things you've got to do for client work and things you need to do behind your business. So it might be legal or accounts or back end things like marketing or your funnel. Get the big tasks down on that list, even if it's about launch or go through dates or whatever it is, get that down on a list. And do this regularly. I'd say at least once a week. Get everything out, because the list changes, the jobs change. Get everything on a piece of paper, and then start prioritizing. Start moving things around. Make sure you've got even things like book dinner reservations, or make dinner reservations, cancel an appointment, book a hair appointment, whatever it is that you need to do, get it on that piece of paper, because it's then out of your head and it feels so much more freeing. Even when you've completed that exercise yourself, that is going to feel like such a huge task done. And then the next bit is about prioritizing that list, getting things moved around. I can't tell you the number of times when I've seen people say they've got loads to do. When they sit down and make a list, it's so much better. And we call it rag rating too, red, amber, green. What needs to be done now? Get that prioritised. You might use something electronic, so you can just move that to the top, or you might just colour code things. What needs to be done? What has to be done? Where are those deadlines? Look at those deadlines and say, right, actually, it's Tuesday. Those deadlines are for Friday. I can do one on Wednesday, one on Tuesday, one on Thursday, and one on Friday. I can make those 3 Friday deadlines. Or you might say, okay, we've got all of these for Friday. We can only get one done. We're going to need to speak to other people. So the next thing on that list is then going to be to speak to the people that need support. Speak to those people and move things around. So it's about looking at that task and then breaking it down too. So once you've done that list, it's about doing the list, prioritising the list, and then looking at it and thinking, right, how much more support do I need in that element? How can I change that and make it into something? So, right, I need to do email marketing, but it's not just set up an email list, is it? There's going to be other steps that come out of that. Some of the stuff you might not know, some of the stuff you might not know. So it might be research how to do the back end connectivity, create the actual opt-in. There's going to be things to do, but get it all down on that list. And then take a deep breath, because that's step 1 done. Okay, step 2. Step 2 is all about managing your time and knowing how much time you spend on things. Again, I know that lots of people spend time being busy, but they're not perhaps as productive as they'd like to be. I know from myself, because again, lawyers, you might not know this, lawyers bill their time by every 6 minutes. So you suddenly have an acute awareness of time when you've got a timer running and you're looking at how long something's spending. So if you spent half an hour writing a letter for somebody or to the other side, you know you can't really bill a client for half an hour. It's probably only going to be about 6 to 12 minutes, so 2 units you can bill. Making sure you have an appreciation of how much time you are doing, and that's got to be in some sort of time recording. So just making a note when you start a task, because it's really, really interesting how many people undervalue their time and they think a client task is they're only spending 2 hours on something when actually they're spending a whole day. And when I say bill your time, I mean all of it. I mean all of the time when you initially have the consult with someone, so any new inquiry, any email, and you might think, oh gosh, I don't have a time management system in place, I can't just start and stop a timer for a certain client. But then maybe when you start substantive work, sit down first, and task 1 when you start working with someone is say, hang on a second, I remember my call, I noted how long the call was, and it was 36 minutes, and I know that we had an email exchange too, so I've already spent at least 45 minutes on this client before I've even started creating anything for them. Because if that's something too, you need to make sure that's included in your pricing structure, that you are spending about an hour's worth of support with someone on the front end, and I bet there's the same on the back, so you might need to be adding an extra hour and a half. Because you might be thinking, well, I charge this much per hour and I'm always really busy, but I'm never quite making as much money as I want to. Record your time. Really capture all of your time. That's so, so important. Step 3 is batch tasks. So stop diving all around, stop answering emails, stop answering the phone. Put a decent voicemail on that's up to date. Do it every Monday morning if you need to, and say your availability for the week. And stop answering your phone, stop having interruptions, stop playing on social media. Batch your time and say, right, this is the time I'm spending on this. So something that works really well for me is I know that there's personal development is really important for me, and I know that there's still a lot in business I want to learn. But I know that time is limited for that. So I batch in time when I'm going to do it. And I often do it when I'm multitasking. So I'll often listen to a podcast or something educational, or I'm in quite a few membership groups, and I will catch up on trainings if they don't fit in with my diary. I catch up with training sessions and I listen to coaches and other people when they've been asking questions. And I'll do that when I clean my house. I'll have them on when I'm hoovering. We have a border collie, he's really hairy. We're hoovering it all the time, I'm always cleaning, so I'm multitasking, I'm listening to what's being said. I would never do something where I didn't know how to do it. So if it was something that I was learning new, like we talked about email mail accounts earlier, if I was trying to set something up, I'd obviously focus on that. But if it's just something that you can multitask, see whether you can share time on a task and really batch some of these tasks out. Don't start making a social media post for Monday and then go off and then do other things, and then Tuesday, can you write your blog post? Can you write your blog post on your YouTube channel preparation? Can you write your blog post on your email list? Can you do things when you're in a feeling of creativity? Like, do you know when you're going to feel more creative? Are you more creative on a Friday afternoon, or do you want something that's a little bit easier? Can you schedule all of your social media posts then? Can you leave that task for when you're sat in front of the telly, or maybe you don't want to leave that task for then? But what I found really, really helpful recently is I wrote out all of the substantial tasks I do in my business. So I wrote down things like blog posts or social media or what it was, and exactly all those tasks. So I don't mean the specific of do a post on this. I mean, what did I actually do in my business? And I wrote those tasks out, and then I was like, okay, this is quite good. I can set these jobs for certain days and I can batch them. So for content, you shouldn't be doing like content on the fly, so it's taking you like half an hour to write a caption or an hour to write a blog post. That's too long. Write down when you're going to do them, things like captions and things. Put things in your phone. Think like, oh, I don't want to be sitting there like, what's my inspirational quote going to be? and like thinking of an inspirational quote post, you want to have them in your phone. So when you're like, oh my gosh, that's so inspiring, I love this quote, pop it in your phone, you've got it. So next time you can open up Canva where you've got templates or another similar system. You can have your templates ready, quickly type in your inspirational quote, post, done. And that's just going to be a filler, remember. You're obviously going to want to have made sure your strategy is that you know when you're going to launch and you know what's coming up for each quarter so that it all flows properly and you're not just doing things on the fly. And having this spare time working on your time management really helps to prevent you from doing things on the fly, because you've got more space to think and you can see things coming up. So when I know I've got a launch coming up, I back things up. I'm like, okay, if I've got the launch then I need to be doing this then, and I work backwards from a launch date with all the lead-in time, with all the email lead-ins, and I work that out really, really carefully. Point number 4 is outsource and invest. Okay, I recently went to an online summit training and I couldn't believe how many people who were really successful in terms of kudos and in terms of really good business reputation. They do also make most of them 6 figures, but it's not all about the money. Successful business people, lots of them women. The thing I noticed about all of them, they all spoke about their team. None of them have made it to where they are without a team. Lots of them now have at least a VA, most of them full teams, and they outsource stuff. They are not spending the time, which we just talked again about earlier, they are not spending their time on Canva. They are not spending their time doing every single task. They are not replying to every social media message. Their focus is not just social media. You see the people who are successful, you rarely see them on social media. They're not always on their stories. They're doing the client work, and I think that's the difference. The people are working through it with a team. And look at things you can outsource. I mean, completely look at my services. Legal, something you need, something that you know is probably going to be a bit of a headache for you. You know you've got to look at the legal stuff every single quarter. You need to review it. You need to implement new strategies. Do you need to do that, or can you outsource? Can you give it to me? Can you shortcut it by buying a legal template? If you're watching this by now, you'll know that I run the online template website, Lucy Legal, providing templates to online business owners. And that helps you make that job so much quicker, so much simpler. And I'm not just doing this to plug my own templates, there's other services as well. Take, for example, video editing. I'm doing my YouTube videos and I've got someone fantastic, Katie, thank you so much, for editing my videos, because it would take me such a long time to do it myself. And it's not meaning that you can't learn to do something or you could never learn. You could, but there are people who are fantastic at this sort of stuff. Make sure that you utilise their services instead of wasting your time. Because say, for example, for me, I spent about 3 hours making a YouTube video. It was about 10 minutes long, and Katie did it in like just moments. It was comparatively how much it cost me. I was spending so much more on my hourly rate, which I could have been spending on client work. And then that's the difference, isn't it? Because I wasn't in my zone of genius, what I'm passionate about and what I'm good at. I was trying to do something which I'm not great at. And just like for legal documents, whereas it might take me an hour to draft something or 2 hours, if you've never done it before, it's going to maybe take you 10 hours, and are you even going to be convinced you've done it right? It's really hard to know, isn't it? Point 5 is get disciplined and forget about this 4-hour week. What is that all about? The 4-hour week is a load of beep. It's a load of crap, isn't it? The 4-hour working week is set up and it's designed to say don't work too much, but there's so much going on. I don't know one single passionate business owner who works 4 hours a week. It's blooming nonsense. They work so much more and they want to work. I think if you're setting yourself up where you are only working 4 hours a week, you're on the wrong things. Doing your job because you want to be so passionate. Like, I love recording these videos. It does not feel like it's even part of the job, but it's working. I think if you're doing 4 hours a week, you need to have a little word with yourself and say, shall I just get a new job now? Forget that. Start being disciplined. If you have set yourself tasks to do, get on and do them. Start doing a decent day. I'm not saying don't take a lunch break. I'm not saying do the hustle, but I'm saying don't think that you can work 10 till 2 and have a 6-figure business if you're just starting out, because you need to put the groundwork in, you need to put in the systems. Like, I am so lucky now. Lucy Legal is built and it's really, really automated. I have so many fantastic clients. They come in. I do work with people now on the courses, which I absolutely love because I get to work with them a little bit more, but mostly it's people just getting their templates and just flying with them. They just run with them. There's not really anything for me to do because they've all been set up. But it didn't mean there's nothing for me to do at the start. I had to draft all the documents. You have to make it work. You have to set things up. There's still someone behind every week sending the email out. Like, it doesn't just get written itself. So yeah, I would definitely get disciplined. I would make sure that if you are doing what we were talking about in step 2 about recording your time, you will see where your time is going in the week, and you can say, hang on a second, I spend a lot of time on social media. Is that giving me the return I want, or am I just like playing on social media? I hope that's been really helpful. I hope you've enjoyed these 5 tips. If you have, make sure you subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you next week for another little body, and we will catch up then. I've been Lucy. Speak soon. Bye.